Okay, we're rolling.
Yes.
The first thing I want to ask you, again, you were around the block when it comes to the Middle East. How long have you been here and what have you done?
Okay, so we first came to the Muslim world in 1986, spent some time in Pakistan and then moved to the Middle East in 1991. And we were there until 2007. Now currently back in Australia lecturing in a theological college, and I bring short-term teams here and visit here whenever I can. The thing that really got us going was God's call for us to reach out to Muslim people. So we really felt that there were people who were in need and we wanted to respond to that. And my wife and I, our little baby boy was 8 months old when we set off.
What fuels your passion? What had you stay in Pakistan for that many years? What brings you back here?
So I usually say three things. There's the call from above, that God's call is for the nations to come to Him, and He sends us out to be part of that. So there's that sense. There's the call from below. As you look at the Middle East and the countries here, you can see they're in dire straits, and particularly here where we are, lots of refugees and just a really difficult situation. But in all of the countries we live, there's been real a terrible physical need, but as well as spiritual need. And the third one's a kind of a call from within. It's just that's what gets you out of bed in the morning. You know, I really sense being in the Father's presence, in the place that God has called me to, and that really keeps us going.
If you could say one thing to the church about how we should respond to the crisis here in the Middle East, what would you say?
Yeah, the first thing I'd say is don't fear. And that's the big thing that often drives people. They're really living out of a context of fear, and some of it's quite justified, and be honest about that. But that's not the most important thing for us as Christians, as God's people. We don't live in that. We live out of in a matrix of love. And so if that's the thing that's driving people, that's where we're going to see the results happening. So to look at Muslim people in the Muslim world with that attitude of love, I think is really key. I really encourage people to go and meet a Muslim person. So in every city in the world there are some Muslims, and to make that opportunity to connect with them face to face, because that breaks down a lot of the barriers and just gives you a kind of a personalised view. I think that's really key. One of the reasons I bring short-term teams to the Middle East is to give them that experience of living here for a bit and connecting with local people, and they're overwhelmed by the love and hospitality and welcome that they receive here. It's such a positive experience. So they go back to, I come from Australia, they go back to Australia with a good news message about the Middle East. There's lots of bad news messages that the media loves to pick up, but they don't pick up the good news stories about lives being changed, about possibilities of serving, about the good personal relationships that develop. So that's the message that I want to see happening with groups.
Focus on the positive, not the negative.
Totally, that's exactly how it needs to be. Yeah.
Wow, very good.